Hi guys.
Hello, it worked.
It worked perfectly. We were sat there sort of panicking, and I was watching it thinking, that's Nikki going out there. But no, you've got us tonight, guys. So it's lovely to, well, can't see you, but it's lovely to have you online with us. And we're jumping on ultimately just to support Nikki at the moment. I think you had some sort of bits to share with us.
Yeah, I know Nikki shared a post the other day. So as you all probably know, she's relocating. She has her health issues as well. So she's just prioritizing her energy at the moment for the things that she really desperately needs to deal with. So she's okay. She's reading all the comments. She may even pop in tonight. She sees everything. She sees your emails. She still loves you all. She's just taking a little bit of time out. She has got a wicked surprise for you tomorrow night because she has done an impromptu video in the early hours of the morning. I won't give away too much, but she's never done a video like it, and I've never seen a video like it either. So it's different. It's amazing. It's definitely worth tuning into, and that's probably be how we roll at the moment for the next couple of months. She isn't getting a break. They're telling her what she's got to do, and she's having to do it, even if that's at 2 o'clock in the morning. So you will see her, but we just can't schedule. So we've created this little Friends of Nicky. Obviously, Lottie is here, and Lottie is an absolute gift to us all, because if I could have a reading with Lottie once a week, I would. But she'll probably get a restraining order on me. But for psychic readings, with any readings, Rahani, everything that Lottie does is amazing, and I'm blown away by how kind, caring, considerate you are, and it's just amazing. My last reading just blew me away. So we are very lucky to have you here, friend of Nikki. I know Nikki thinks the world of you as well, so thank you for jumping in and saving me from sitting here on my own, not knowing what to say to anyone.
Bless you. No, thank you for having me. It's a real honor, honestly. You know, with Nikki, and I know everybody who's watching tonight or in the sort of following weeks or whenever you're watching it, Nikki has done so much for all of us, and has done so much for me since I first stumbled across her a couple of years ago, you know, on TikTok, when she was first starting back out, getting herself out there, and the bedroom guru. And so, yeah, it's an absolute honor to jump on anything like this when she supported so many of us at different stages in her life. I think it's just really important that we can give back to her right now, because she, like you said, she is needing it. She is needing that sort of energy from others, sort of stepping in as she rests and recuperates. Yeah.
And she has got a lot of people, hasn't she, that want to come on. Obviously, we'll do these. Yeah. Might be Danny next time. It might be Faye next time. She's got a wide circle of friends that want to support her. There's a lot going on. So, I mean, tonight we're going to be, well, Lottie's going to do the Rahani, which is an amazing bit of healing for everybody. And then we're going to be concentrating on answering the VIP questions that went in 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Nikki's, you know, she knows they're there. She wants you to all carry on your spiritual journey and to not be sort of thinking you've been left somewhere. We're all thinking of you all the time, ways we can give back to you, because it's the most loyal bunch of people I think I've ever come across. And it's just a great family, and it's a great thing to be a part of. And so Nikki's appeared in all of our lives for all different reasons, but she's just been there at the right time. So much of us have things we share with her, and we'll just guide her through this relocation, and she'll be back stronger than ever, and we can all enjoy her videos again. You won't have to you won't have to keep looking at me. I know Lottie's much easier on the eye to look at.
Oh, shut up. Not at all. One thing, do you know what I was going to say about Nikki the other day? I think I was chatting to someone in a reading, and I said, you know what? I've always called her a connector. She is a connector of people, and I don't know what kind of contract she made before she came here, but she made a big one, a vast one, because I know when it comes to starseeds or spiritual people, you know, the majority of our journey, we feel like really alone and very sort of isolated and not, you know, around people that we resonate with. And as much as we have people who may be sort of grid workers on the planet in the respect of sort of connecting the energy in that respect, I definitely feel that Nikki does that in her own way. That's her own level of grid working, is that connecting energy, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's lovely to hear people's stories of how they found Nikki, because now in Nikki's world, it feels like she's everywhere to me. But there was a point where she just popped up on our screens one day, and it was at the perfect time. And I've heard that story repeated so many times for so many different reasons. I'm kind of like, she's the great connector, and doing events and things with her has been an honor, just to meet the tribe, and it's been amazing. So I know this is a temporary little pause for her, but like I say, she's always around, and she will pop up when she can, as she can. And yeah, it's a new chapter of her life that she's about to start, and it's exciting. So hopefully we can all be there to hold her hand and get her through it. So thank you all for coming. I'm seeing your comments on here. I'll monitor them a little bit when Lottie gets underway.
Thank you, guys.
So I'll
Cool.
hand you over to Lottie and her amazing Rahani, and yeah, we'll see you.
You can enjoy it as well.
Yes.
Perfect. Cool. So I've set the intention, guys. Ultimately, when you're receiving this Rahani, that it's focusing at the moment on sort of our heart space. I know a lot of us are carrying a lot of heaviness in that area at the moment. So it's focusing predominantly on the heart chakra, opening up the energy there and enabling our bodies to feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit more grounded. Our nervous system, a lot of us might be feeling dysregulated in our nervous system at the moment. So I really wanted to set the intention to work with those energies predominantly today. But equally, I'm also going to be channeling the energy for the collective and also for Mother Gaia, because Rahani isn't just something that we can focus on individuals. We can also sort of focus on the planetary energy as well. So I'm going to be working with it in that sense. So for those of you who haven't heard of Rahani, it is an energy healing practice that brings balance to the body. So it sort of harmonizes the feminine and the masculine aspects in us. And it really just enables the body to relax, to open itself up for healing to whatever capacity that is that you're needing right now. And when we work with it, we bring forward the Rahani Celestial Pink Angels. I work with the Archangel energy, but also that of some ascended masters. So this would sort of be individuals like Yeshua, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin. I would also work with Lord Melchizedek, who is actually believed to be an ascended master, is overseeing the ascension on the planet at the moment. So a very important factor in what we're moving through during this sort of age of Aquarius in 2026. So without further ado, I'm going to open up my energy a little bit more. All that I ask of you is that you just find yourself in a really comfortable space. So if you want to close your eyes, if you have any crystals around you and you want to hold on to them, absolutely, you carry on and do so. But yeah, just find yourself in a comfortable space where you hopefully won't be disturbed. For the next 15 or 20 minutes, I'm going to channel through to you some beautiful Rahani energy. Just to bear in mind, you might notice as you're receiving the energy, cold energy, warmth, you may feel goosebumps, you may get a sense of energy around you as the Ascended Masters and the Archangels step forward. You may see colours behind your eyelids. If any of you have had energy healing, then you'll know what I'm talking about. For anyone who hasn't, those are sort of the different ways that it could present for you. And just a bit of a disclaimer, in the days following, because this is an energy healing practice, it works to sort of disperse any sort of energy that you're carrying that is a little bit denser. So in the days following, just make sure that if you're feeling a little bit tired, just to take it a bit easy, drink plenty of water, and just make sure to ground yourself as much as possible. Cool. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, guys, and whenever you feel comfortable and ready, you can open your eyes. Just taking a few moments to reconnect to your senses. And if you've got any water to hand, just having a quick sip of that and just give yourself a little pat down, a little sort of stroke on your arms and your hair is a really good way to ground yourself, ground your energy back in. And just welcome you back into this space.
Amazing. I'm ready for bed now.
Me too. Thank you for trusting me with that healing energy there. It's always really lovely to give it because you feel it channeling through you as well. So we always get a little bit of it as well, which is lovely.
Magical. So shake ourselves out of it now.
It's a Friday evening though, isn't it? It's a nice way to start the weekend. A little bit of healing, ease our way into the weekend.
It's lovely. Let's get some just a second and we'll go into the questions and answers.
Yes, we will do. Let me get my senses back on.
Yes, so tonight we're going to be looking at the VIP. These are the VIP questions that go into the VIP tribe page on YouTube. So we've selected them obviously because normally we would take them from here. We've got them. We'll try and answer as many as possible, and yeah, we'll see how we get on for time. If you don't get your question answered, there's something you can always email in as well. Nikki does read all the messages down there. She'll respond to you as well. So if there's something really pressing, just send us a message and we'll get to you.
Cool. Okay. So I've got the list of questions here. I'm going to do my professional thing. Get my. Okay. I'm not going to do them in any particular order. I'm just going to sort of pick and see which one I feel most drawn to first and foremost. Okay. So the first question is from a Marie Cheney. I hope I said your surname correctly. So the question is about becoming more open to guides and angels and knowing how to help others as an intuitive therapist. Okay, perfect. So from my perspective, when it comes to opening up to your guides and your angels, really intention is key. Initially, the minute we set the intention to connect to our guides, connect to the angels, we've already opened up our energy to let them know that we're receptive to whatever it is that they want to bring forward for us. Because when it comes to our guides' energy and the angels' energy, we live in a sort of world of free will. And so they always have that awareness that we have to ask to make that connection. So when we set that sort of request to connect to our guides or to the angels, they are almost going to receive that sort of call from you instantaneously, even if it's through thoughts, because a lot of people think, do I have to speak it out loud? I find as well, even if you're just thinking it in your sort of head, because some of us want to connect to our angels when we're out in public. There may be something that we've got going on around us and we're wanting to interact with them, so you can speak to them in your mind as well. One really sort of powerful way in the first instance to connect to them is through meditation. Essentially what we're doing when we're connecting to our guides, when we're connecting to angels, we're putting ourselves into a state of receptivity. With anything that's connecting through a mediumship perspective, whether that's connecting with past loved ones, whether it's guides, whether it's angels, we're wanting to open ourselves up to being receptive of the energy that is coming through. So just getting yourself into that space of meditation is really, really beneficial. I would actually probably say, whether that's through guided meditation or you feel called just to sit in sort of silence and set in that request of wanting to connect, whether it's your guides, I would say choose which one you want to sort of go with initially. So if you want to connect to your guides, for example, just sit in that meditation space, call your guides forward. And the key is noticing that they may come through to you in many different ways. They might not necessarily come through visually. Some people might sort of receive it visually, so that clairvoyant aspect. but they don't always come through in that way. They might come through a clairsentient level, which is that clear feeling. So you might suddenly feel a shift in the energy around you. You might get goosebumps running through your body. You might just feel a warmth around you. You might feel an intense energy of love. Or you might sort of suddenly hear something. You might hear someone speaking to you. You might sort of ask a question of your guides, and you might just hear, and sometimes it might be a voice that is your own voice that comes through, and that could be them responding to you. So ultimately it's getting yourself into that space of receptivity. And then the next key component is trusting that it will happen, because that is the sort of main factor, is feeling like, you know, we're talking to ourselves and there's nobody else there. So just trusting and kind of allowing your ego to sort of step to one side. And then when we do that, put all those things together, we're opening ourselves up to have that sort of two-way interaction with them. And like I say, whether that's your guides, whether that's your angels, and just trusting whatever comes through in that process. So yeah, hope that helps, Marie. And if you're already working as an intuitive therapist, I would 100% say that you probably more than likely already are connecting with your guides and angels. It's just understanding how that looks and feels for you, and however it looks and feels for you right now is right. Cool. Okay, so let me have a look. So the next question is from Alfie Hume. Again, I hope I said your name correctly. So the question is about NDEs, near-death experiences. So Alfie was born with a heart condition called TGA, transposition of the arteries. So they were pronounced dead for 25 minutes. And as a baby, they remembered nothing of the other side, understanding that they were given a choice to come back. So how can a baby decide this, or was it in their soul contract? Okay. So essentially from an NDE perspective, I guess, yeah, a lot of NDEs generally happen to people when they're sort of a little bit older. A lot of the sort of documented cases are around that. So they usually have that sort of remembrance of the experience. But ultimately, one thing I do find with NDEs is that there's so many different ways that people experience them. Some people have like really, really elaborate remembrances of the other side, and can sort of go into great detail of what that looked like. And other people can have, similar to yourself, have that sense of feeling that you experience that in that moment. And I would say ultimately, as you were a baby at the time, we've got to remember that at a soul level, even though in this realm you would have been a baby, when you sort of transition to the other side, even if it's just briefly for that period of time, that you're sort of almost returning back to that soul essence of yourself. And so in that respect, I would say that it wasn't necessarily your baby version of yourself that would have been making a choice to return, but it would have been that soul level version of yourself, knowing that they still had a path to walk, and making a decision from that perspective, that you wanted to return and live your life to the full extent of your experiences. When it comes to the lives that we live as well, in this realm, we all come with a soul plan. I always say to a lot of my clients that if we didn't have a plan, I mean, that the world is chaotic enough as it is. So if we didn't have a plan, it would be so much more chaotic. And so in that respect, we do come with certain destiny moments that we want to experience in this lifetime. You know, that could be certain jobs that we want to have, certain relationships we want to have with people, the amount of children that we want to go on to have. And so it could be even perceived that that could be part of your soul contract. You could have wanted to have that experience of having an NDE and making the decision to come back as a result of it, knowing that the path that you were going to walk sort of ahead of that would be important for you in terms of your soul's journey and its growth and its evolution. And also to be part of the really incredible things that we're moving through at the moment. So I hope that's helped. Hope that's answered your question. Okay. Okay, I like this one. So Anne-Marie Smith, your question is, can you please explain déjà vu? All of us have had it. And do you know what's really interesting with déjà vu? It always happens in the really random moments. It's never really like, sometimes it is those really like elaborate moments, isn't it? Where we're just like, oh my goodness, I've experienced this before. Usually I find that when it's happened to me, it's really when it's like quite mundane moments in our life. And again, that kind of feeds back to the soul contract. So again, before we come here, we make that plan for our life and we sort of build into that how that's going to pan out, what it's going to look like, the experiences, how we're going to interact and connect with individuals. And I have a sense of feeling and have been sort of shown that that's kind of what déjà vu is in those moments. We're tapping in to an experience that at a soul level, we've already experienced. We've almost tried it out before we came here. And so we're tapping into that in that moment. And it almost feels as well that it leans in to us having that sort of greater awareness that where we're at that time is part of our soul's path and that we're moving in the right direction. Because a lot of people tend to sort of question, and I find it a lot in sessions with my clients, am I on the right path? Am I going in the right direction? So déjà vu, I really feel feeds into that as well. It's a little hint from your soul self, from your guides, that you are moving in the right direction, that things are panning out exactly as you sort of pre-agreed when you were building that soul's plan for you before you came here. Thank you very much for that question, Anne-Marie. I'm really enjoying this. I was actually really nervous because I was looking at these questions beforehand thinking, am I going to be able to answer them? I hope I'm answering them okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, so Christina Hines. Do angels or spirit guides appear as a single spark of light in your vision path? Not like seeing stars if you hit your head. I keep seeing a bright single spark of light near me. Not every day, though. Okay, well, they can do. For a long period of time, especially whenever I've called on Archangel Michael, I've always seen a very, very small, just as you described it, almost like a flicker of light just out my peripheral vision. So they can show up as that. They can show up as sort of many different sort of things. Some of us sort of document seeing things out the corner of our eye, seeing a shadow at the corner of our eye, or seeing almost like a heat vapor. Those can all be different ways that spirit can sort of start to manifest, but they can certainly manifest in those sort of single sparks that you've mentioned, Christina. I would say in those moments when you're seeing that spark, to make a sort of deeper connection with that energy is just feel into it, intuitively feel into it. What, in that moment, were you asking to make a connection with the spirit? Were you asking to make a connection with an archangel, with a guide? Or was there something happening at that moment for you that they may have wanted to step into your space? Was there something you were worrying about? Maybe you were seeking guidance or clarity around something. Really just sort of feel into that moment when it happens, and then just sort of get a sense of feeling of what that energy could sort of relate to. Do you feel it's a guide? Do you feel it's archangel energy, angelic energy? Do you feel it could be connected to a past loved one? Really sort of just start having a little bit of fun with it is the best way I can describe it. And that way, that's when you build your relationship with spirit a little bit more. But yeah, absolutely. I've seen them exactly in that manner. So I would say that is what you're experiencing. The other thing as well, as I mentioned before, is the colour. Noticing the colour. So Archangel might come through in that beautiful cobalt blue. Archangel Raphael may come through in green. You might be seeing a different colour. So just take a note of that as well and getting a sense of feeling around it. Thanks for your question. Okay. Okay. So this is a Midgimoo. There are quite a few channelers, auto writers on YouTube who contact deceased famous people like Princess Diana or the Queen. If these famous people who have died keep getting channeled or contacted, does that keep them more grounded here rather than letting them move on? The person being channeled can also use emotive words like being angry, etc. But I thought the ego or human emotion fades away when on the other side. Just interested to hear your thoughts on this. It's a really interesting one. I'm not necessarily sure what Nikki's sort of perception will be around this, but from my awareness, especially when working as a medium, generally what we find with the energy of individuals that have passed over, I find that if there isn't a direct connection to the person that we're channeling them for as such, that we may not necessarily have that ability to connect them directly. But, if we have the capacity to sort of be able to connect to individuals who have transitioned, who may be famous, there are many sort of channelers out there who do, then I wouldn't necessarily say that it's going to prevent them from sort of being able to move on. Okay, you've got to look at it in the same sense as working with mediumship. So day to day, I will work with clients to bring through past over loved ones, and whilst in that moment we're having that interaction with them, and they may be stepping into our energy to do so, they are still in that higher realm frequency. They're not sort of coming down to this space and grounding their energy and almost acting in the sense of becoming an earthbound spirit again. They're on a different level when it comes to being an earthbound spirit. And equally, it's that two-way interaction. They're making that sort of agreement to step forward. So when we're doing a mediumship reading, that's why we might find that you may get a client who's wanting to connect to a specific loved one. And that always doesn't happen. We don't really get that choice around who comes through. So there has to be that sort of two-way agreement of whether they're wanting to step forward. And they would have that awareness of, in doing so, it would just be for that brief interaction with that individual who's connecting with them to bring through whatever it is they're wanting to connect with at that time. And then after that, they're sort of, just re-immersing themselves into that space of the divine realms. But they wouldn't be leaving that space. They wouldn't be anchoring their energy back down to this frequency. And when it comes to working with the emotions that they're expressing, absolutely, there's no ego when they transition. They move through that phase. The ego is sort of the earthbound energy, but they can use a way of expressing their personalities. So they will come through with their personalities just to resonate with an understanding of what they may have been like in their lifetime. Okay, so if they were somebody who may have been incredibly compassionate in the way that they presented themselves to the world, they would sort of represent that through their personality. If it's something that feels like they are leaning more into the ego, then it's just using your intuition around whether that information feels right for you at that time when it comes to the information and the energy that's being channeled. But from my experience when working with mediumship, generally they may bring through those emotions just simply to present their personality. Hope that helps. How am I doing, Karen?
You're absolutely perfect. I don't know how many more you've got left.
Oh, I'm having a look. I've got a good handful more, so I'll probably only get through a couple more tonight. There was one that I was just reading now, which looks really interesting, and I feel like I probably could actually answer this from a personal level. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so this is Joanne Edie Aguirre. I really hope I pronounced your name correctly. So thank you for suggesting the amethyst turtle for my daughter. She loves it. Fantastic. We'd love to hear that. They're gorgeous, the turtles as well. The carved turtles. Aren't they lovely?
We'll have a calmer minute in a sec.
Yeah. I think I'll do this one and then we'll move back to sort of having a little bit of convo about the crystals. Cool. Okay, so I know my last question was about her seeing. Okay, so my daughter, she loves it. I know my last question was about her seeing shadow people in her bedroom. Thank you for answering that. My next question is, she has autism and ADHD. She hates the quiet, has to have TV on for background noise because she says she hears too much, even if it's completely quiet. I've asked her what she means and says it's like being in a room with lots of people all talking at once, but can't make out what anyone is saying. She says she wants to turn down the noise and hates it. People I've spoke to say it's the ADHD and it's her own thoughts, but what do you think? So I was really drawn to this one because I'm actually on the path myself at the moment to understanding if I've got ADHD and autism. And that really resonates with me when I was growing up and still now. So specifically for me at nighttime, I have to have a fan on at all times, and I actually sleep with the light on. And the reason being is because when I'm in that space, especially at nighttime, because it goes really, really quiet, and our brain goes into that different frequency, that different brainwave, we become more open and attuned to the energy around us. And we sense and feel a lot more. And that's absolutely what I have when I'm in that sort of very, very quiet space at nighttime. I experience exactly what your daughter sort of has been sensing, specifically when I was younger. In fact, that's actually one of the reasons that I closed down for my abilities many years ago before I reopened them again, because I would just feel this overwhelming sort of sense of energy around me. A lot of like, as your daughter described, a lot of sort of chattering, a lot of conversation, and I could never make sense of it, but it just felt very overwhelming. And when it comes to sort of the ADHD and autistic element, it can really have an impact on the nervous system, and it can feel even more so overwhelming. So from my sense around what you've described, it to me sounds like your daughter is incredibly psychically open and psychically sensitive and has a beautiful, beautiful gift there. It's just knowing how to work with it. Okay. Obviously the amethyst turtle, that's going to work amazingly because that's going to make her feel very secure, very safe. I would say, also working with the energy of Archangel Michael, asking him to sort of come in if she feels a bit sort of anxious around that. She's obviously mentioned how she'd like it to sort of stop. Archangel Michael is just really good to sort of bring in that energy to make her feel a little bit safer, a bit grounded, a bit protected. It doesn't feel like anything that's negative as such, but it can feel so overwhelming, and again can sort of make her feel a little bit dysregulated. So just working with her to understand as well that she has the capacity to almost control it. The other thing that she could try, which is something that I certainly did when I found that it was too much, was almost treating it like I was visualizing a volume switch in my mind, and sort of switching up and switching it down. It's just knowing that you have that capacity to have a little bit of control around the environment, and putting some sort of boundaries in place. That's why we sort of work with sort of opening and closing our energy. So whenever I step into doing my work, I set the intention first thing in the morning to open my energy, and in that sort of respect, then I'm allowing sort of spirit to step forward and to connect with me. At the end of the day, when I finish work and I close it down again, there's many different ways she can do that, creating visuals in her head and, just speaking out loud, I'd like to sort of quieten the connection, just working with her to make her feel that she's a little bit more empowered in knowing that she has that ability to sort of work with it. But I'd certainly say she definitely sounds to me like she's got some beautiful gifts, and it's just really exploring them into how she can work to sort of adapt them so she's not getting so overwhelmed. If you feel like you want to reach out to me, because I feel that it'd be lovely to interact with your daughter and yourself, especially because that really, really resonates with my experience. I'd be happy to do so. I'm not sure whether, I think if you go on Nikki's website and look under the Friends of Nicky, there's access to my website. You can always drop me an email. I'm happy to sort of interact a little bit further there, but I hope that helps.
Brilliant.
Cool.
So there was a couple of other questions on there that were crystal related. So obviously that's an excuse to talk about karma, isn't it? So
Always.
they're quite in-depth questions. One, I believe, was about what crystals can go together. Obviously, there's a vast subject, and the easiest, I mean, clear quartz is an amplifier. So that's going to just amplify everything you've got near it. Because it's such an in-depth subject, what we're going to do on karma now, we're going to open a blog page. On the blog page, we're going to have articles written by us, Nikki, and we're going to update them weekly with all these kind of things in. So crystals that are good to go together, what they're for, all the properties. We've been meaning to do a crystal guide since the beginning of karma, but it's been so incredibly busy, thanks to you all, that things have just fallen back. So blog to come, and we'll address all the properties of as many of these crystals as we can. They're coming in all the time, and there is just thousands of different ones. So we'll work our way through. So if there's any questions relating to that, message us in. We'll work our way through to create some PDFs and things that you can download, or some guides that can help you with those. Also, there was a question, and Nikki mentioned it in one of her videos not so long ago, about colours, the importance of colours and the colours you wear, and how that can affect your energy. Again, we could probably go on for ages about that. The lady, sorry, I don't remember who it was asking, you know, she doesn't believe like the colour she wants to wear suit her. You can always accessorize things. You don't have to like head to toe wear the whole colour. And so we'll go into that as well. I know Nikki wanted to work on the colour guide, and so a little bit of time for that one, but that will be coming. So as much, if your question hasn't been answered, don't think we've ignored you. We have this limited time now, and if we haven't acknowledged it, we will acknowledge it somewhere else. So keep your eye open, especially on karma, because there's some big things coming there. Yeah, so it's just getting through all this stuff at the moment. There's a lot going on. So but yes, I've had my little.
Got mine as well.
Darren will be asking me, why have I got this in my hands? But I absolutely love him. He's probably got a name, but I'm not aware of it.
You need to ask them. Just sit with him. Sit with him and ask him.
Actually, Sharon's. I've just whipped it to sit here to protect me. But yeah, thank you for all your support over at Karma, and it's just been amazing. Like I say, it's probably grown quicker than we can even catch up with it. We've got some new stuff coming with videos from the mines. Everything's ethically sourced, so we've got some really good videos coming just to show you how your support is helping the people that get these wonderful crystals for us, and what it does for, you know, the countries that they come from. So that's all to come as well. Like I say, Nikki, I know Nikki's full of amazing things to come. And I know we all get a bit impatient with, you know, we want it now, but I promise you, what is to come is pretty amazing. You know, it's a really hard time for her, obviously, because relocating is kind of, you know, with Darren, who plays with us, is always in karma. I mean, honestly, things that go missing in there are unreal. So he's a bit of a joker in there with us. So we will get back to some kind of rhythm and routine. We're just trying to catch up with ourselves at the moment, but we're always here. And I know, Lottie, you're always here. You're such a good support for Nikki. She really appreciates everything you do. And you're a good friend to us all. We are the dream team.
Aren't we? Yeah. Happy to be part of it. Thank you, guys.
No, so unless, have you got anything else you want to share? I will put all Lottie's details once this video processes. I'll stick them under the video, so they can find your website. And if you like the music, the Flight of the Angels that was played,
it's beautiful.
It's amazing, isn't it? I always forget. It's called Flight of the Angels. Nikki had that made for her, and it's really special, that one. I think I might actually put that on before I go to bed tonight. That was lovely.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
But I'll make sure your details are in there. Any questions, anything you want to say? Or
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for letting me be part of this. Like I said, it's an absolute honour to just step forward and support Nikki, in the way that she supported us. And I just hope you guys enjoy the Rahani. With Rahani, it is something that I practice for clients, but I do also teach it. I've had the pleasure of teaching lovely Karen and Sharon as well. And it's just a really, really beautiful energy practice to work with. So that is something that I offer amongst many other things on my sort of website. And there's a lot more exciting things to come as well. I'm going to be creating some courses hopefully this year. And I've recently been creating some meditations, which are now available through my site. So yeah, just have a look. And if any of you have any questions for me after this evening, just pop me a message. I'm on social media. My details are on my website. You can get through to me there. But yeah, just thank you guys for trusting me to send you some lovely healing. As I said, just make sure to sort of over the next couple of days, just drink plenty of water, rest as much as you can if you feel like the need to rest. And you may notice some like emotions coming up. That's just emotions coming to the surface because they're being cleared, they're being dispersed. So that's completely normal when it comes to any energy healing modality. But yeah, if you have any questions for me after tonight's healing, just drop me a message. Happy to answer.
Yeah, so I think we're just about done here for the Friday night. Thank you all for coming. It's a bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? You think, I hope people turn up and I hope people enjoy it. And
yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for coming in, Lottie, and helped out. This is the second time you've come in. One of your meditations is actually, if you go back through Nikki's videos, you did a meditation on there. It's available on your website, and it was brilliant. So if you want to go and have a look, I'll stick all the details underneath. And that's about us. I wish you all the loveliest of weekends. We're going to put a feet up, I think.
Yeah, cannot wait. But have a magical evening, guys. Have a magical weekend ahead. And take care, and I'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.